Hey everybody, Scoutcrafter here again. It's Friday, TGIF. You made it through another week. Thank God it's Friday. And we got a couple things to talk about today. It is our last episode of the month, which usually we do a quick recap on what we did this month. I do 3 episodes a week, so that's usually about 12 episodes a month, and we try and pack some information in there, and it's amazing how quick it goes, huh? Let's do a quick recap of what we did this month. Now, first of all, we started off with the Just Right Pendragon, which is very similar to this, but we restored that. We also did an introductory to Wigwag lights. After that, we visited a car show for the first time in a long time for me, and we also spoke about crow's foot wrenches. After that, we had our flag challenge where people sent in their different types of flags and posted them up. That was a lot of fun. After that, we went to the Atkins 100th anniversary saw. This saw here that is just absolutely, I mean, how could you not love this saw, right? So we did this saw. I'm going to make a special cabinet for that saw because it deserves it. It's a beautiful saw. And then after that, we did the Reese padlock sent in by my good friend Bruce, the military padlock here. We just covered that. After that, we did the ice pick that was sent in. Joel Jacobson sent in this, and this is always this was an advertising ice pick. We did that one up. And then we did Gary Lee's Archimedes drill, and look, it's almost like an optical something. This is a beautiful drill. I had a lot of fun doing this. And then we did Harry's Bill Noss wrench. And this one isn't that a pretty wrench? That's just I can't tell you how beautiful this feels in the hand, how smooth, how silky. Another nice project. After that, we went to the Zagre show. Had a good time there, met up with a bunch of subscribers. After the Zagre show, we talked about the CD, the Civil Defense helmet, and also we covered Sergeant Nicolosi's tribute to his entrenching tool. We did that. We also did, Ken gave us that Peter Gray lantern, which really came out beautiful, and we also fixed the base for that Circle D spotlight. And as a matter of fact, I did get a response from that great eBay seller. She thanked me very much for sending her back some money because she really didn't expect it. So I thought that was really nice. Also, we last week we just did trouble lights, which we're going to touch on a little bit today because remember I told you I wanted to change the bulb on that. We're going to do that in a couple minutes, and then let's start that right now. Now, if you remember, this is a Russian neon bulb that I got in here, and we're going to take that bulb out of there because you can see it, but I wanted something a little bit brighter that you could see from further. So I bought, remember, a regular bulb, an A19 style bulb wouldn't fit in there because of the explosion-proof glass. So we bought this bulb here, and you can see it has a lot more filaments in it, and I'll show you what this looks like there we go. I don't know if you could see the filaments in there. They kind of spiral around. There you go. You see that? So I think that'll be really cool in there. So let's take this apart and put that bulb in real quick. Okay, here we go. The new bulb is installed, and here, I'll try and get it close, and you can see that spiral filament that's in there. That makes it look really interesting, right? Again, I'm touching the lens here, so that'll dim it down a little bit for you to see. But when you put that on a dimmer switch, that'll look really interesting. So that bulb fits just perfect. You can see we only have about a ½ an inch between the top of the bulb and the top of the globe. And then last up for the month, we finished up with this cool rocket light. And also we spoke about extension cords, and that's something I wanted to just real quick touch on one more time because a good friend of the show, John from Scotland, brought up a very good point. Just wanted to throw that by you and see what your opinion is. Of maybe the 2 dozen extension cords I have, I do have some on big reels that I store them on. This is a light duty one I use just for my hedge trimmer. But for this one here, John was saying that when you obviously anytime you use a cord, they tell you to take it out and lay it out, which you usually do because you know you're 100 foot away. You know you're not gonna grab something like this and just hook it up like this and plug it in while you're right here. But some people do. Some people only use a little bit of it and they keep the rest coiled up. Now, they say that there's a chance that this can get overheated. Now, why it gets overheated, I'm not sure if it's because of the fact that it's resting on top of each other. There's no air to get into it to cool off the jacket, or John was saying something about induction. Now, you know that, remember years ago when we used to wrap a DC around a nail to make an electromagnet? Well, there's a theory out there that says if you keep your cord in a coil, that the induction created by a circular, having the cord running around, will create a magnetic flux and heat up the cord. I was under the impression, and again, I'm no electrician, that these cords were designed so that wouldn't happen, because you have, if there's 2 or 3 filament cords and you have one going one way, one going the other way, you know, the neutral bringing it back, the hot bringing it to. So the fact that they're crossing next to each other nullifies any magnetic field. Also, just to make sure that wouldn't happen, I was told that in extension cords, if you look, that the wires are actually twisted. They're not running parallel all the way through the cord. They're twisted, again, for that reason, to stop any kind of magnetic influx or anything. So I would like to know, has anybody ever had experience? Because John said that down by, sometimes by RV parks and stuff, where people would, you know, have extra coils of extension cord wrapped by their RV and they lay it down, that he said sometimes they would melt or whatever. But I would like to know if anybody has had any experience with a coil giving them a problem as far as heat goes. You know, real world experience, not I heard this could happen or it says it can happen. Has anybody ever had that happen? Okay, just let me know, because like I said, I thought that they had, you know, safeguards in the cord. And again, alternating current, you couldn't make a magnetic field if you wanted to. You'd need direct current and one line. So let me know what you think about that. I'd like to have that discussion in the comments if we can. Next up, a lot of people have been missing the fact of, you know, our channel is basically a tool restoration channel, and they say, you know, I'm missing seeing a before and after with the rust and everything. So these were 2 50-cent items I picked up at the Colchester show. You could see here, and always the first thing you look for is the jaw. Jaw's in good shape. The cutters, good shape. No rattle, so you know they're tight. That means they're great. Okay, we can deal with rust. And, you know, this little hammer here, I always love these little things. These are just, and this thing was not beat. I mean, how could you beat on a hammer this small? But I just think they're cute. Let's clean these up and get a little restoration going. First thing first, let's take it to the wire brush. Here we are, our post wire brush evaluation. You can see how nice this comes out, especially the knurling. When you got to look close. When you see these tools, as long as they're not banged up, the knurling always comes back looking beautiful, doesn't it? I love that. That's why you pick it up, you look at it, and you say, oh, this is for me. Now we could see that the head actually was used, and we'll fix that face. But other than that, it's real clean, nice little hammer. The shaft needs to be cleaned up. You know, that's as far as the wire brush will go. These pliers here were made, called Truecraft, and you can see the model is K356G, and they were made in Japan. Now, you know, this has some interesting marks on here. Like if you look here, you see this is your standard grind across. They went with a milling machine, but look over here. Look at that interesting, what's that all about? Never saw that on pliers before. But you can see the jaws are real clean. We're going to have to still get in here with the Dremel to get in that corner there. And, you know, the staining, there's only one way to get rid of that staining, right? So let's see what we can do. Okay, you know my favorite part. Remember what these two tools look like before we started. And we're calling this project done. Again, it's been a while since we did a little cleanup because of weather, but it cooled down a little bit tonight, so it was actually very enjoyable. Let me show you what we did here. We took the shaft back to look at that, how nice that is. And again, with the knurling, cleaned up everything, did the little bevel around the face, you know, fixed up the back. You know, it's, again, I don't know why I like these little machinist hammers. I don't know what you would use them for, but they are cool, right? And this was interesting because, again, was able to keep, you know, I didn't want to get it to a mirror, but I was able to keep all the lettering on here, okay? Took it back to the original, what the original groin would have looked like. Look how nice that is. Kept all, like I said, the lettering, even sharpened it up a little bit. All the pits out. However, there was no rust. And, you know, I'm not a fan of cold bluing. You know that. I'm not a fan. But this is hot bluing. And you can see the difference because after all these years, when this all rusted up, these didn't rust. So, or not as bad. So I said, you know, I'm going to keep that. Keep the bluing on here. What do you think of that? You like that two-tone with the polished face, but the bluing on the edges and cleaned up the jaws? And let's see how she cuts because this thing is, it's almost like NOS as far as the jaws go. I'm going all the way up and down the jaws, and you could see how nice they cut. So just a beautiful little pair. Well worth the 50 cents, I think, for these pliers, and 50 cents for the hammer. So what you think of that? It's always fun to see old tools, discarded tools come back to something that's really nice. So closing, that was a fun short one today, but I have the two questions that I wanted to ask you, and one was the extension cord coil. Have you ever heard of that problem? I can't see them producing coiled reels if that was a problem. So let me know if you've had any real world experience or anything like that. And secondly, here's a question that my girlfriend just recently got a flat tire and she has to bring it to the dealer, which they always do patches. You know, they patch the inside of the tires. Patches are always preferred over a plug. And, but I have to ask you something. I've been, you know, of course a patch is better than a plug. We know that, but has anybody here ever had a plug fail on them? Okay, because I've plugged many tires. My neighbor here plugged a motorcycle tire and did 150 miles an hour on it. I don't know, have any of you ever had a plug in a tire fail? And not because it was installed wrong, you know, I mean a properly installed plug, even some of the noodles. Let us know in the comments. I really respect your opinions. I know we got a lot of bright people out there, and appreciate you for tuning in. Hope you have a great weekend. Take care now. Bye-bye.